All right, we're live. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sheen. What's up, everybody? Got a few people in here. Decided just gonna hop on, do a live stream instead of just recording my video by myself. I like to do these live streams. Kind of also cuts down on my editing, so just want to just do a live stream, go over what's going on with some stock, some companies, in particular. Green Power Motors is probably going to be the main event today. We'll talk a little bit Tesla, talk a little bit what else was on my thumbnail. Uh, Tesla and ChargePoint, of course. ChargePoint, Switchback Energy went public. Announced that they're going public with ChargePoint today. So we're just going to talk about those three. That will be the main event. So just a shout out to a couple of viewers in here. Vino, Cinev Anthem, Dana Cert. I haven't been following Dana Cert, so I don't know much about them. Probably know more than me. H7 Opolo, what's up? Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Workhorse strong. Workhorse took a beating for the past couple of days. I'm still holding strong. Not planning to sell anytime soon. We're waiting for that contract to be announced, so no sellers for me. Coolbox, what's up? Thank you for joining me. Thank you very much. So cool. If you don't mind, I'm just going to start with my presentation with Green Power Motors. It's a stock that has been just beaten down like nobody's business. It was a really hot stock just like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago maybe. Then it went public into the American markets and got listed on the NASDAQ. They did a 7-1 reverse split. So they brought their share price from like $1, $2 range. They were listed for, I think, $20, $21. And then ever since then, they just went big poop. So we're going to talk about it. Overall, the market is, took a huge dump for the past few days. And so this is the time where men are separated from the boys and the girls are separated from the women. So this happened back in March, and that's when I was taking advantage of the dips and buying, and now my account it's been down recently, but I was up to up 45% on my public portfolio, up over 100% on one of my private portfolios, and that's all due to just doing the buying when the stocks are low. When the stocks are on sale back in March, back in April, when all hell was breaking loose, that's when I was buying, and that was how I was able to take advantage of the situation. And right now I'm sitting at over 100% on one of my portfolios, and about I think 30%, 20 something to 30%. It was 40% just a couple of days ago on my public portfolio, but since this bloodbath, the portfolio has been taking a beating. So that's what I just want to say, guys. This is the time to really put your money to work for you. You want to buy stuff when it is low and on sale. You don't want to buy when everyone was buying and just all types of craziness going on. You don't want to buy Tesla when it was $450, $500. That's just craziness. You want to buy it when it's like $380, like today or just the other day. That's when you want to buy it, right? So keep your head on straight. Focus on the good buying opportunities. Joe, thank you for joining me. Huge fan. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you. And exactly, buy best buying opportunity, guys. If you're buying when it's high, you're doing this all wrong. You're doing it backwards. You need to buy when it's low, sell when it's high. But for me, I don't even sell when it's high. I hate selling stocks. I don't want to sell anything. I'm one of those folks that are hold till you die. So I've been selling some stocks only because there were just small positions, and I just want to get rid of those small positions. And because what I've been noticing in my portfolio is that I had so many stocks, and like some of the stocks I only had like 10, 20 shares, and they were just even though they're up like 40%. it wasn't anything because I only had like 40 shares, 20 shares of these stocks. So what I did was just clean up shop, got rid of all those small positions, and just focused them in on my bigger positions. Things like Green Power, things like Switchback Energy with ChargePoint, Hyliion, Workhorse. So I just really focused on DPHC. Thank you, Grant Freeman. DPHC, definitely focusing on putting more of my money into these concentrated stocks, try to being so spread out. So we're going to talk about DPHC, but in a little bit, I want to talk more about Green Power Motors. So Nazrul Islam, I bought GP shares. Any thoughts on GP? Yeah, I have plenty of thoughts on GP. So we're going to talk about it right now. You see I have it on my screen. Let me make that bigger for you guys. So we're going to talk about Green Power Motors. So Green Power Motors has been taking a beating like nobody's business. It was down 3%, nearly 7%, 4% today. It was down like 15% yesterday. Now it's an $11 stock. So market cap on this is $204 million. So very, very small market cap company. So small market cap companies like this is easily manipulated. Any bad news, any slight sniff of anything bad, the stock can come crashing down. So very, very easily manipulated stock. So keep that in mind. That's number one. Only a $204 million market cap company. I believe I don't have it on my presentation right now, but I think the float is something like 11 million shares. So very small float, very small market cap company. So anything like this is easily manipulated. Anything bad is gonna cause the stock to do this, and that's exactly what has been happening. So back in early September, late August, that's when the whole merger came. Not the merger, sorry, the IPO listed on the Nasdaq. It listed about $21, and ever since then, it has been taking a poop down to $11 today. So what I've been doing, I've been buying plenty of shares of Green Power Motors, basically all through the beginning of the month. If I knew that it was going to take such a huge poop like this, I would have waited until today to buy some more shares. But you can see I've been buying continuously throughout the month. Like I said, now that I have more than what do I have in here? $2,200 in here. I am kind of reaching that limit where I'm not sure if I want to put more in, just because it still is a speculative stock. It is a small cap market cap company, and it's a small manipulative, easily to manipulate stock. So I'm at a point where I'm not sure if I want to put more in, even though it is at like $10, $11, which I think is a complete bargain. But I'm in a predicament right now where my cost basis is decently low. It's $14.67, which is a decent low cost basis, I think, for this stock. But I have already $2,200 in this. I might put a little bit more, but I'm really at that threshold where even if it goes lower, I'm not very comfortable putting more. That's just my personal position. Down 24% on this one currently. Overall, down $552. So if you guys don't know, I'm sure some of you probably do know that there was this Mariner Research put out a short report, Green Power Motors, subsidy-driven revenues at risk. So we're going to talk about basically the biggest problem that this Mariner Research short seller had was the subsidies that this company gets. And if that's the biggest problem, to me, that's not a deal breaker for me. So we're going to talk about it. So Grant Freeman, shout out to you. Got October 16th, $30 calls on DPHC. Yes, so I don't think there is an official date on the merger yet. So all I know is sometime in October. So hopefully there will be a merger, and the stock will skyrocket for you. But it is a good play. But you don't make big money without taking some risk. So $30 call, we could hit $30, if that merger gets announced before that. So thank you again. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for the support. So 89 shares. I think it'll go up by next year. Okay, cool. So let's talk more about this Green Power Motors and this subsidies. So basically, Green Power Motors, they're only registered in California to be a automotive, vehicle manufacturer and dealer. So they really only sell in one state. So they're saying that they're essentially a one state wonder, and there is some logic to that. Yeah, we do want them to spread out to more states, but you got to understand there's a reason why they're only selling in California. And here, sorry, I mean, here's the reason why they're selling in California. California is by far and away the biggest, largest market for EV vehicles. Right? So as an investor, you would be, if they weren't selling in California as their biggest state, you would be yelling at them. Why aren't you selling in California? And the thing is, it's not like they're selling everything. It's not like they're meeting all demands and meeting all their orders. They're selling in California, and they can't fulfill all the orders currently. So it's not like they've already saturated the market in California. So they're selling in California for a reason, all right? This is the biggest market. It is the biggest economy in the United States. So it just makes sense to be selling in California, right? So that's not a huge deal for me. Obviously, in the future, any company in their right mind would spread out and move into other markets. But the market in California is just so big. There's no reason for them to move out of California as of yet. So I don't have a huge problem currently, for the short term, that they're only selling in California. All right, so this short seller is saying that they're supported by significantly one government program, and then they estimate 74% of Green Power's total revenue in the calendar years 2019 and 2020 is from this program. And so basically, it's the California HVIB, hybrid zero emission truck and bus voucher incentive program. So that is where they get most of their revenue. So again, like I said, California, biggest market. That's why they're selling in California. But California is also the most progressive state in the whole union. They just passed. They're just talking about passing this. I don't know if it's officially passed yet, but the governor is basically planning to ban sales of any any gasoline vehicles in 15 years. By 2035, there will be zero sales of gasoline vehicles. So again, California is the most progressive state when it comes to EV vehicles. So it just makes sense that they're selling in California. I don't have a problem with them selling in California for now. I do want them to spread out to more and more states, but for now, you keep in mind, Green Power Motors has only been starting to make revenues since 2017. 2017 or 2018. So, they've been in business. They were established in 2010, but they didn't really start getting orders and delivering orders until 2017. So it's not like they've been in only California for the longest time, right? They're still trying to meet demand just in California. So the short seller also talks about the CEO with shady ties to toxic financing of different companies, blah blah blah. I'm not too concerned about this. If you dig deep enough into anybody's history, it could be questionable things that they've done in other companies. But we're talking about Green Power Motors. We're talking about this company, so I'm not too concerned about any of this other things that the short seller has been talking about. What I really just want to more talk about is this subsidies that they're targeting. So we believe that Green Power revenue growth is likely to be significantly hampered due to shrinking California subsidies program. This compounded with the governance risk outlined above leads us to assign a $2 price target to Green Power stock, which is down 85% from the last close. 86% down from the last close. I think that's a little dramatic. They're thinking that this stock should be a $2 stock. I think that's just just a little bit dramatic. So I don't agree with that at all. So they're saying Green Power Motors. They actually have revenues, unlike Nikola. So they took effort to take a jab at Nikola right there. So that was pretty funny. So like I said, the problem is that the subsidy program accounted for roughly 74% of their revenues. Also, the subsidy program is expected to be shrinking. They believe that this dynamic has already started to affect Green Power's revenues, which are down 41% compared to the same period last year. And so I don't know where they get that number, because they're saying Green Power's revenue is down 41% compared to the same period of the prior year. I looked into Green Power's finances, and their revenue has not been down. So maybe I'm mistaken. I don't know what they're talking about. But like I said, 2018 was the first year that they really was starting to make deliveries and really have any revenues. 2018 fiscal year 2018, their fiscal year ends in March 30 end of March. So their fiscal year 2018 they had 3.5 million. 2019 nearly doubled that at 6 million. 2018 they went to 3.5 million. 2019 6 million, and 2020 fiscal year 2020, which ended in March. So keep in mind their fiscal year ends in March. So fiscal year 2020 and ending in March was 13.5 million. So I don't know where we're getting this down 41%. So maybe I'm mistaken, or maybe I'm reading that wrong. But looking at their finances, they've been growing like nearly double from 2019 to 2020. Right, 6 million to more than double, up to 13.5 million as far as their revenue goes. So I'm a little confused about where they got that 41%. So they're saying they believe the Green Power Motors has prioritized G&A over R&D, research and development. So they're saying that they spent roughly $2 million on research and development in the last 5 years, and only spent and then they spent $8 million on administrative fees, and that's why they don't have any patents or they don't have any licenses. So let me see. I looked up that information. That is pretty accurate what that short seller is saying. So administrative fees for the last 3 years, 2018 2020, was about $7 million, and then product and development cost was only $1.7 million. So I mean, I don't. Okay, so they don't have any of their own patents, and I believe that is true. I didn't see that they have their own patents, but they have been working a lot to get Altoona certification and another certification. I forgot off the top of my head, but basically with these certifications, they are able to. It's like the Sell to America's certification or something like that. Because they are a foreign company, they are a Canadian company, so they have to meet some certain requirements in order to sell in the United States. So they do meet that, and they also have certifications that allow them to take advantage of government funds. They don't have patents per se, but they do have these certifications, if you will, and so they do have that, and that does set them apart, because you can't just start up a company and just start selling EV vehicles to like state governments, local governments. You can't sell buses to school districts, because that's all government, and you have to have certain testing and blah 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 and all this stuff, and that takes anywhere from 1 to 2 years for you to get those certifications to sell to state and local governments. So it's not like anybody could just start an EV company and say, hey, we're making this school bus, we're going to sell to this school district, we're going to sell to this city these transportation buses. No, it doesn't work that way. I mean, if you sell a vehicle just to the public, yeah, you can sell a vehicle to the public as long as it meets like safety guidelines and stuff. But in order to sell to the government, is what a lot of what they do with their school buses, with their city buses. Uh, that takes a lot of time. So not anybody could just do that. So that's one thing that they do have. Yeah, Buy America. Thank you, Angela. Angela K. Buy America compliant. Buy American compliant. Right, exactly. So that takes time to get that certification. So no, they like the short seller is saying no, they don't have any patents per se. Uh, no, they don't have any patents or licenses per se, but they do have, Buy America compliant and Altoona certification. So the short seller is saying that they're this basically the revenues are drying up. The California CARB uh, uh, vouchers are drying up. There's going to be less and less, and subsidies are less and less. And I don't deny that. I know that is true. Subsidies are going down. And why are subsidies going down? Because more and more people are buying electric vehicles. If more and more people are buying electric vehicles, then subsidies are going to go down because you don't need subsidies. So it's not going to go away, but eventually they're going to be faded out. It's the same thing that happened with Tesla. When Tesla first sold vehicles, they relied a lot on subsidies because no one was going to buy a however much it was at the beginning, $120,000 for their Model S or whatever it was at the time. They relied a lot on subsidies. The federal and state government gave subsidies. If you wanted to buy a clean vehicle, they would give you subsidies in order to buy. So, and then now that Tesla is doing fantastic and they don't need the subsidies, they're not eligible for the subsidies anymore. So that's going to happen with every single company out there. Even DPHC, Lordstown Motors, even Fisker, all their cars are eligible for $7,500 subsidy from the federal government. And once you sell a certain threshold of vehicles, then you are no longer eligible for those subsidies. Same thing with Green Power Motors. They are eligible for subsidies, but when they sell to a certain point, they are no longer eligible for as many subsidies, and these subsidies will eventually go away because the subsidies are only there to help adoption of EV vehicles. Once that has, it's kind of like a training wheel. Once people have made the decision that, hey, we don't want to buy gas vehicles, we don't want to pay for gas, we don't want to pay for oil, we don't want to pay for transmission flushes, all this stuff that you have to do, oil filters, all that kind of stuff you have to do with all the maintenance. We don't want to do that anymore. We see that we could transition to an EV vehicle. And yeah, it might be a few $1,000s, maybe up to $10,000 more for a vehicle, an electric vehicle. But over the lifetime of the vehicle, you're going to save a lot of money because you don't have to pay for all the maintenance costs. So once people start seeing that, the subsidies are going to be less and less and less. So yeah, the short seller is correct that the subsidies are going down. So, but hey, there's going to be a transition where the company, Green Power Motors, whatever it is, Workhorse, DPHC, Lordstown Motors, any of them, there's going to be a point where they're going to have to take off the training wheels of the subsidies and rely on people wanting to take a EV vehicle over a gasoline vehicle because of the benefits, of a EV vehicle. So yes, subsidies are going down, but they're not going away. September 29th, there's going to be a webinar or teleconference with the California board, and then people can join, and they're going to discuss about the funding for transportation incentives. So it's a government thing. Every single year, they're going to have to re-talk about it. Every single year, they're going to have to say, oh, this is how much we're going to fund it. So it happens every year. So subsidies are going to be lower. Okay, fine, they're going to be lower. But hey, the adoption of EV vehicles are higher and higher every year. So short seller talks about the subsidies were basically stopped November 1st of 2019. So I mean, it wasn't really stopped. It was just that the funding for that particular year for 2020 was basically all used up. And so no new vouchers or requests will be accepted until HVIP reopens when fiscal year 2020-2021 funding is available, which is anticipated to be early 2021. So it's not like the subsidies are frozen, are going away, or anything like that. It's just that it's the government. The government has they come to an agreement how much money is they're going to have for this program. It was all used up, so then they have to wait until the next year before they have an agreement about how much money there's going to be for the next year. So when that happens, people like Workhorse, everybody, we like Workhorse, Green Power Motors, they're all going to apply for these subsidies. So to me, it's not a huge deal. It's not like people didn't know that Green Power Motors used a lot of these subsidies. In fact, Green Power Motors, this is in their SEC filings. So the reduction or elimination of government or economic incentives, funding approval, or the delay in the timing of advancing fundings that has been approved, in particular in the state of California, could have a material adverse effect on our business, financial condition, operation results, and prospects. Our vehicles are eligible for vouchers from specific government programs, including the hybrid zero-emission truck and bus voucher from California CARB, in partnership with CalSTART and the Specialty Use Vehicle Program in British Columbia. So blah blah blah. I already talked about this. The vouchers was 142 million for the HVIB that was for the previous year that was all used up. And so, that's what it is. That's the biggest thing from this short seller report that they're really targeting. And to me, sorry, let me bring my screen back up. And to me, it's like, yeah, I agree. We would like for there to be enough people buying that we don't need subsidies. But the reality is that, if you're running a company and you see a EV vehicle that's whatever, $200,000, and then you have a gasoline equivalent, like, a Ford Sprinter van or something that's like $150,000, probably they're going to choose the cheaper vehicle. But more and more people are realizing that over the lifetime of the vehicle, it's not really cheaper. And so these subsidies are just helping them for now. Eventually, everyone's going to, and besides, everyone has to transition in California, in 15 years to be completely, non-gasoline powered. So as far as the short report goes, it does bother me that the stock is easily manipulated because it's such a short, so small market cap company, and so I'm just taking the opportunity to buy some of the stock while it's low, but we'll see if this stock recovers. I think the whole EV market has to recover, which is led by Tesla, and this story just has to get hot again. Hopefully, if they release their next quarter numbers and their next quarter numbers are well, the stock could recover. So that's just my thoughts about Green Power Motors and their subsidies issues. So let me scroll over the chat and just catch up. Catch up with you guys. Thank you for joining me. Again, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't yet already, smash that thumbs up button. It really helps out. Spreads my videos to more and more people. So back to Nazul Islam. So it has 89 shares, and I think will go up by next year. That's what I'm thinking as well. So many companies are attacked by short sellers. Some of it is really legit, like Nikola. Like Nikola is just straight up fraud, like just straight up pushing vehicles down down hills and just recording it like it's in motion, saying that their vehicle could actually move when it wasn't able to move. So it's like just straight up lies. Whereas this short seller is just pointing out some facts, but I don't think it's as dramatic as they're making it. Yes, they are really only selling in one state in California. Yes, they're relying a lot on subsidies. Yes, the subsidies are going to be reduced next year and the year after and the year after. But also you got to look at things like this. California is going to ban gasoline vehicles by 2035. You got to take that into consideration. You got to take into consideration that more and more people are buying electric vehicles, regardless of subsidies. So, like I said, I don't think it's as big as this short seller making it, and there's nothing in there that Green Power is manipulating numbers or anything like that. There was some talk about they're stating that their vehicles are able to get more miles than supposedly that they're going to, or like their specs, but I wasn't too concerned about that. So that's my thoughts about Green Power. So yeah, let me go through the chat again. Mike Smith wants to know what specs am I most bullish on? Let me think. So ChargePoint for sure. That's just a brand new one. Switchback Energy. I've been buying that a few days ago on the rumor, and then I've been buying it, I believe, yesterday and today. That it was official. So ChargePoint, they're the biggest EV charging company in the United States and probably in Europe as well. Number one player without a doubt. Has good reviews. So they target a lot of fleets. They build out for hundreds of vehicles charging infrastructure at a time. So I really like that. So ChargePoint for sure, very bullish on. Of course, Hyliion, I'm very bullish on. I think that they have a real powertrain that is on the road today. Very, very easy to understand business model. Renewable natural gas. Natural gas is everywhere in the United States. Infrastructure is there. Hyliion, definitely very bullish on. What else? LCA, I'm bullish on as well. They're just killing it on the numbers year over year. They're just raking in the profits. They've been profitable since 2016. Tillman Fertitta is on both ends of the deal, so that deal is going to go through. There's like zero chance that deal is going to fall through, right? So it's guaranteed that it's going to happen. The merger is going to happen. So very bullish on LCA. I don't care that he's on both ends of the deal. I don't care that he's going to pocket $30 million from this transition. It is his company at the end of the day. It is his cash cow. It's making tons of money. He's going to take care of that baby. That's all I care about. And like I said, look at their revenues. They're only in one state in New Jersey, and they're bringing in, I forgot what it was. Was it like 28 million or 27 million, something like that? So LCA very bullish on as well. What else? DPHC. I'm bullish on it, but it's ran up a lot. I know I was in DPHC when it was at like $11. So that's why I'm bullish on it. I probably wouldn't buy in right now at what is it, like $28, $27, something like that. So, but I am still bullish on it. DPHC, they're probably going to be first to market, with a EV pickup truck. I wouldn't count the Cybertruck out. Cybertruck could be out by summer or fall next year. Tesla does build factories very, very fast. So it will be neck and neck, in my opinion, with the Cybertruck and the Endurance truck. See which one comes out first. Hold on, guys. I have a kiddo knocking on my door. Sorry about that, guys. My 3-year-old was knocking on my door. Got out of bed. I don't know. He just wanted a hug or something. So sorry about that. Back to the chat. So those are the things I'm bullish on. Let's see. Scrolling down the chat. So Toll 2, Canada will go hardcore green, not just one state like California, but all the states of Canada. Yeah, Canada is definitely a lot more progressive when it comes to like EV vehicles and green technology overall as a country. So I do believe Green Power Motors does also sell in British Columbia region, right? But by far their biggest market is California. Bought 2,000 shares at $3.50 Canadian before the 7-1 split. Yeah. I forgot how much. I think I bought at like $2 and change, like $2.40 before the split, and I actually believe right now it's at what is it at today? It was at like, there you go. It was $11, so it's actually cheaper than what I bought it for initially before split. Divided by 7. Yeah, so essentially it's $1.58 pre-split. Martin Edmondson says, "Can green power regain, and where can it go?" Yeah, so green power, like I said, I think they will regain once the overall market needs to come back up, of course. And I mean, it's not only green power motor that's been dumped on. Basically the whole EV market has been dumped on. So, it's just one of those things. You have to be patient, lower your cost basis. So, I don't think it is a doom and gloom situation. So. Just going through the chats. So my fellow Canadian here I think he's Canadian. So I guess he's been following Green Power Motors a little bit because it's a Canadian company. They need one city contract, either Canada or states. So I think you guys are having a chat. I'm just kind of popping in on the chat, so I'm not fully understanding everything. They are working on autonomous drive. Yeah, they're working with Perrone Robotics, and I don't look much into their autonomous drive. I think it's one of those things that it's like they just have that as like a side project that they do work on, but I don't think they're putting too much efforts into the autonomous drive. I think at the end of the day, companies like this, Green Power Motors, Workhorse, pretty much every other company, they're just going to eventually buy a autonomous drive solution from somebody else, whether it's from Tesla, from Zoox, from whatever else, from Waymo. I think they're eventually, or Mobileye, so they're going to just buy the solution and then retrofit their vehicles. That's what I think. This just doesn't make sense for a company like Green Power Motors or Workhorse or any of these to put any efforts or put any money into research on autonomous drive. It's just easier and cheaper just to buy it from a company that has been working on it for years and years. Yeah, so Green Power Motors actually has vehicles on the road, so that's a lot. That's really a lot to say for an EV company right now in 2020, because there's not that many that have continuous sales of EV vehicles on the road today. KP, what's up, everyone? Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Yeah, so Angela K says they have rebates in British Columbia. Yeah, so pretty much in British Columbia and in California is where they do most of the sales, and that's where most of the incentives are. 123 ABC says, I sold my shares this morning after reading GP's CEO, not reading about GP's CEO, not very impressive. I'm not sure exactly what you read about him. So, I mean, was there like a real negative report on him or something? Sajal Patel is asking about Proterra. As they're still private, we're supposedly there's a rumor that they're gonna do a reverse merger as well. Haven't heard anything. If they do, they will definitely be the biggest bus manufacturer out there. What do you think about Tesla Q3 auto sales? Catherine asks. I think they're going to be massive. The ramp up of the Model Y, not only the Model Y has been selling like crazy, but also the Model 3. But Model Y, even though it's a more expensive car, realistically it's about a $50,000, $60,000 vehicle. But it's a lot cheaper for them to manufacture. So their margins on the Model Y is much greater than the margins on the Model 3. And so because of that, they're going to make some, the revenues are going to be a lot higher because of the ramp of the Model Y. Also, ramp of Model 3 in Shanghai. So margins on Shanghai vehicles, China vehicles are much higher. So those two ramps and a lot more software sales. They were selling. They just started selling for I think $4,000 their software package for their autonomous drive. So it's not the full self-driving package, which is $8,000, but they started selling software package, which is just pure revenue. When they sell software, that just goes straight to the bottom line. There's no overhead. Everything on that is already accounted for. It's just pure revenue, pure net income when they sell software like that. So they just started selling software, $5,000 for their autonomous drive package. Basically, it does everything except city street driving and except navigate on autopilot. Angela K. So Angela K. seems to be following Green Power Motors as well. So he was riding on the coattails of Hindenburg Research, but they were credible. Yeah, so I mean, obviously Hindenburg Research blew the top off of Nikola, and everything was legit. And like I said, this is not the same thing as Hindenburg Research. Okay, Hindenburg Research was basically straight up saying that Nikola was lying, was committing fraud, saying that their vehicles move, like shooting commercials of this vehicle that's rolling down the hill. Like that's just straight up untruthful. This is not the same thing with Green Power Motors. Okay, what this Mariner whatever they're called, what are they, Mariner Research, the beef that they have is basically that they're getting most of the revenues from subsidies and most of their sales in California, and they're just stating a fact that the subsidies are going down next year, so they're expecting their revenues to go down for Green Power Motors next year. And sure, fine, whatever. You could make that assumption, but you're not also making the assumption that more and more companies and more people are transitioning to a EV vehicle, and they're choosing to have an EV vehicle because it's just more cost efficient if you take a 5-year outlook on it. So I mean, there's nothing in here that Green Power Motors is manipulating their numbers, nothing like that. No fraud allegations, nothing like that. So it's complete complete different story than what Hindenburg research was talking about with Nikola. So not the same thing. Simple trade. As soon as any news hits GP, this thing's gonna fly. Yeah, like the overall market needs to recover, and the EV market needs to recover. So Norman Cup tap. Should I sell my GP shares? Only you will know if you're going to sell your GP shares. It all depends on what's your outlook. I think a lot of people are doing it wrong in the market. It's not about when you buy the stocks. It's really about how long you can hold on to the stocks. So, really, if you hold on to like 90% of stocks for a long enough period, you're gonna make money on it. That's just facts. Catherine again, do you think Tesla will be accepted into the S&P 500? Yeah, there's no doubt that they're going to be accepted into the S&P 500, and the only question is when. So, they are, they're one of the top 20 highest revenue companies in the S&P, like the top 10. And they're not in the S&P, right? But they make more than like the 10 S&P companies combined. So there's no doubt that they will be accepted in S&P. It would just be ridiculous that they're not accepted into the S&P. I think S&P committee, probably one of the, this is all just like rumors and conjectures, but probably a few reasons why they weren't accepted in S&P to begin with. Number one is, they got revenues from selling their credits, their carbon offset credits. So that could be one reason. S&P committee might not have liked that. And it's kind of understandable, because it's like, okay, so you made X amount of revenue, but so much of it came from these credits. So next year, if you don't sell those those credits, you'll be making less revenue, and it would look stupid on S&P 500 committee to allow them in because they're profitable, but then the very next year, for some reason, they're not profitable because they didn't sell enough credits. So, I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's true. I think they should be accepted. Obviously, I support them. But if you look on, take the position of S&P committee, it would look really stupid of them to accept any company, whatever it is, into the S&P 500, and then the very next year, or the very next quarter, all of a sudden they're not profitable, and they're not profitable again, and they're not profitable again. So I think S&P 500 committee just wants to make sure that they are going to be sustainably profitable, and so I think they're waiting on that. And then the other reason is that I think there's just not enough stock for all the fund managers to buy. So I think that's one of the reasons, kind of like behind the scenes reasons that they did their capital raise. So put more shares out into the market, and so now there's more shares in the market. So now fund managers will be more likely be able to buy Tesla stock, and just because there's more liquidity in it. So it could happen next quarter. It could happen by the end of the year. It could happen next year. Who knows? So I mean, I read that there. It's in my I mean, it's right here. We believe the CEO, Fraser Atkinson, has some questionable people in his orbit of colleagues. His prior endeavors have seen SEC subpoenas, a delisting by a British Columbia Securities Commission, and collapsing stock prices. So if you look hard enough into anybody's past, you could find negative things. I'm not too concerned about this. We're talking about Green Power Motors right now. All I'm concerned about is what Green Power Motors is doing, how much revenue they're doing. Uh, so the fact that they're making 3.5 million in 2018, revenue of 6 million in 2019, 6 million, sorry, 6 million in 2019, and then 13.5 million in 2020. Like, that's what I'm really concerned about. I'm not too concerned about his previous company. I'm not too concerned about the supposed unsavory people that he's hanging around. That's just me. So can GP stock go lower than tens? Yeah, of course it can. It could go lower. Who knows how low it's gonna go. So you know, it all depends on what the market thinks, what the market wants to do. If it goes down to the $10, geez, I might really have to buy, even though I don't really want to buy, because like I said earlier, I'm already 2,200 into this, and for a speculative stock, it's just a little too high for me. But if it falls into $10 range, I might have to buy. Jake lost 3K on GP. I think says get out now. Hey, that's the worst time to get out. I mean, you guys are doing this wrong. If you guys are doing, you don't get out when you're down. You hold, or you buy more when you're down. That's the way you do it. You have to do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. Everybody else is selling. That's why it's down. Unless some catastrophic fraud allegation, they're doing some illegal stuff, that's when you have to get out. That's legit. That's when you have to get out. But other than that, there's no reason to get out if you're down $3,000. There's no reason for me to get out when I'm down 24%. It's the time when you are trying to average down your position, buy more into the position, or just hold. If you're selling and you're down 3K, you're doing this wrong. You're selling when you're down. You got this thing all wrong. You need to sell when you're up. 123 ABC says sold space stock to buy LCA. What do you guys think of the smart move? I think it's a smart move. Space stock is not going to do anything until Richard Branson goes into space. And I think that's still months and months away. So space stock isn't going to move until that happens. All right. So LCA, on the other hand, that's going to merge literally in a few weeks, and that's going to happen for sure, because Tillman Fertitta, he owns both companies, so he has the ultimate say. So it's not like this deal is not going to happen. It's going to happen. The revenues year over year are massive. I think there was 22 million, 23 million for their last year. So and they're only operating in one state right now. So added more to LCA. Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. I actually added some warrants. I'm not adding more stock. I have I think over $3,000 in LCA Commons, so I'm just buying more warrants. Michael Alexander, what a week. Started the week up 40%, now only up 8%. Good God. Do you have literally, are you all in EVs? Or all in SPACs? Of course, I bought the dips on GP. I'm gonna rewind and check out what's going on. Yeah, for sure. Check out my my presentation. I started at I don't know, it was 7 minutes in. MC, everyone should have seen the issue with GP when they made their initial move to get listed. A poor business move rather than not patiently growing. They aren't worth their current value as of now. All right, I mean, that's your opinion. I mean, if you listen to their conference call, they specifically talked about why they made this move. And it was the move that was necessary for them to be listed on the Nasdaq. It's like, do you want to be listed on the Nasdaq? Yes or no? If the answer is no, then okay, fine. then don't do your split. But if you want to be listed on Nasdaq and get out of the pink sheets and not trade on the OTC and trade on the Nasdaq in the U.S. markets, it was the move that was absolutely necessary. And um, and if they didn't make that move and their stock crashed down to if they went up organically up to whatever it was $4 $5 and they did the same crash right now, they would be less than $1 right now and they will be delisted from the Nasdaq. So if they didn't make that move, they didn't do the reverse split, they will be in serious danger of being delisted from the Nasdaq right now. So that's why they made that move. Andre Blake, what's up? GP didn't he buy 500K? Yeah. So yeah, the CEO bought $500,000 worth of Green Power stock, and he paid $20 for his stock, for his shares. That was in the SEC filings. Just gonna go through a few more chats. Then I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm trying to keep this at an hour. I'm actually going to the beach camping tomorrow. Gonna stay 2 weeks. 2 days. I was gonna go last week, but didn't make it because the tropical storm came through. What was it? Beta, tropical depression, or tropical storm Beta came through. So we did not end up going to the beach camping last weekend, but we're going to do it this weekend. So I'm going to go there, stay 2 weeks. Sorry, I keep on saying 2 weeks, 2 days. So we're going to wrap this up and start getting things ready. So Math Guy says we need people who get out when it's down so I can buy for cheaper. Yeah. People are doing this wrong. If you want to sell your shares for $11, $10, you want to sell your Tesla stock for $350, there are plenty of people willing to buy, I think. How some of you guys trade scares me. Yeah. You guys are, if you're trading and you're losing money, you're doing it wrong, guys. William Davis, I'm in the same position as you with GP. I'm definitely going to hold our DCA down. Double down? Are you talking about double down? Any idea why SPACs dropped so aggressively today? Bought more LCA today and Workhorse yesterday. But the uncertainty made me nervous. DME and SQ seems to be only strong holds. Well, Cramer, I don't know if you guys know Jim Cramer said on his, I don't know if he said or was in a report or something that to be careful with EV SPAC stocks. So he didn't give any love to the EV SPAC. And so that could be a reason why EV SPACs are down. He just didn't give any love. Said basically, kind of compared EV just because EV Nikola, they were a SPAC. Kind of try to draw some conclusions, I guess, and said to just be careful about EV SPAC companies. So he said that, and that probably has something to do with it. And the EV SPAC market has been taking a dump. Michael Alexander, when we're down like this, instead of selling, it's best time to remind yourself why you bought into the company in the first place. Yeah. I mean, if you're trading it, the time to trade it has been long gone. Yeah, something like Green Power Motors. Time to trade it was a few weeks ago when it was uh, you know doing all time highs and climbing. So traders, I don't understand the mentality of traders. Everyone has their own philosophy. I mean, it's just too stressful for me to buy a company, hope that it goes up. If it doesn't go up, I sell it for a loss and try not to take a big loss. So uh, I don't understand the trader mentality. Yeah, Kramer, yeah, he said be careful about the EV SPACs. He said that on his. I don't know if it was on his show or I saw a report that he said that. So that's probably why EV SPACs are down, or partially why. Mike Zoe, do you feel there is a sleeper company out there that isn't in the news that can take a portion of the USPS contract? How do you see the contract divided up? I mean, there's no sleeper company. There's only three companies in there for the USPS contract, which is Workhorse, Morgan Olson, and right Oshkosh. So there's no sleepers. They're all are in there, and they all have opportunity to get this contract. Personally, I think Workhorse will get a significant portion of the contract. So at least 50% is my opinion. And realistically, any of the other two companies, Oshkosh and Morgan Olson, they could get the other 50%, or it could be split three ways. Who knows? Yeah. So just answer that question for you right there. All right, guys. So thank you for joining me tonight. 193 people in here right now. How many thumbs up do I have? Only 57. Oh, that stinks. Give me a thumbs up. Smash the thumbs up button for me doing this live stream, chatting with you guys, having some communication, giving you my thoughts. So make sure if you joined in late, just pop back in on the replay. It was like probably 7 seconds in. I talked about basically Green Power Motors, talked about the short seller. This has been buying, buying, buying. Talked about. Sorry, let me get rid of this chat real quick. Been buying, buying, buying. Talking about this short seller report. So I talked all about this short seller. Basically, the main issue is this California. There are one state wonder where they're getting their revenues, et cetera, et cetera. So I talked about all this stuff about 7 minutes in on my presentation. So go back and watch that if you're interested in the short seller report and my thoughts about it. So thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Give me a thumbs up. Let me see if the thumbs up have gone up. Yeah, 83 likes now. So please give me a thumbs up. Really helps out the channel. Catch you in the next one. Really appreciate you guys. Have an awesome weekend. Tomorrow's Friday. Let's see if we end on a green day. Market has been disastrous for us, but hey, guys, this is the time to be buying, to be averaging down your position. That's what what I did in March. That's what I'm doing now. I've been buying a lot of things. Been buying switchback energy with ChargePoint. Been buying a little bit of Green Power Motors, as you saw. Pretty much all of all of September, I've been buying a little bit every day, averaging down my cost basis. That's the way you do it. Don't try to time the market. You're never going to get the rock bottom. So always just average down in cost basis. If you believe in the company, average down. Don't try to get in for a quick gain. It's not going to work. Overall, in the long run, you're gonna be happy that you average down. Just like when I averaged down in March in my portfolio, I was up like 40% on one of my portfolios, up over 100% on another portfolio on my private portfolio, and that's what you got to do when everything is crashing, when all hell's breaking loose, when everyone's running for the hills and nobody has confidence. All the traders are running, taking their money. That's when investors come in, scoop up those shares for cheap, hold on to it because the company is going to do well in the future. That is where the big money is made. So take my suggestion, only a suggestion, not financial advice. So dollar cost average, absolutely right, Mr. Mike Zoe. Yeah, trim your positions. Big thing. Learn to trim as well. So dollar cost average. Trim positions that, if you're not gonna put more money into the position. That's what I've been doing as well. Trimming my position. Stocks that I only had like 20 shares in. You're not going to make money on stocks that have 20 shares. So I trimmed a lot of those positions recently. All right, smash that thumbs up button like William Davis. Thank you very much. Have an awesome weekend. Have an awesome Friday. Again, hope the markets are good tomorrow. Smash thumbs up button on the way out. Catch you in the next one. Have an awesome weekend. Peace.